go and, you know, try to explain the whole entire line of plexus, right? So you're grabbing their health goals and you are telling them, okay, hey, thank you so much for sharing that with me. I have a great testimony from my friend Addie that I would love to share. It has elements of what you're going through. Can I send that over, and when is a good time? Always make sure you're asking what the good time would be instead of just sending it over, because you want to keep that conversation going. I always say, don't let them out of your car. You're the driver. And so getting them in that passenger seat and keeping that conversation bouncing back and forth, always ending with a question, is super important. And so you're going to ask them, what are your health goals? They share. You're either going to send them a quick testimony, a video, or you're going to say, hey, my friend Addie, she has the same things. Could I throw her in here? I know she'd be happy to answer any questions you have. And then you're going to say, okay, great. You know, do you feel like you can benefit from, you know, what Addie told you or what testimony you read? If they say yes, then you go right into recommending a package, right? So you're going to say, thank you so much. Like, I would recommend the triplex and ease because X, Y, and Z, kind of relate it back to what the products would do to help them. And we have all of that in the exposure process under files in Hope Dealers. So, and it's just such an easy way to streamline that conversation, and also to find out exactly what they're dealing with. And I feel like a lot of the times too, when people tell me, oh, I just want weight loss, or it's just energy, and I'll say, okay, great, weight loss, energy. Is there anything else that comes to mind after you've watched the video? You know, sugar cravings, kind of naming off those things. That way I can also be sure that I'm hitting all the points, making sure that I know if they're on medications or if they're allergic to anything, you know. So you want to make sure you're asking all of those questions. And, you know, how are their bathroom visits? Are they pooping, you know, 1 to 2 times a day, more or less? Like, these are the questions that are super, super good to ask, because I truly think, like, yeah, is there anything else that's stopping you from feeling your best? You know, just asking the questions, and don't feel like you're getting nosy. Like, don't feel like you're like, oh, I feel like I'm just like prying in and like being super nosy. You're not. You're literally not being nosy at all. You are asking questions so you can make a recommendation to them that is going to help them, that is going to allow them to stay consistent and see results. Okay. So when they say, you know, you recommend the products, you tell them the pricing, you know, I always, if you can, voice message it. It seems so much more genuine. And also too, they can just hear you. And how I always do it is I'll say, okay, great. You know, I recommend the triplex, and I'll go through the products. And I'll say, you know, usually this bundle is around $180 this month, but right now it's on sale for only $109 plus shipping and tax. Next month for those 3 products, because we do get a subscription to help you stay consistent. And I'll put like a happy emoji. You guys, subscription is good. Okay. You have to carry that energy in there, because a subscription is going to help them stay consistent. And so you want to make sure that they are aware of that. And then I'll say, you know, next month for those 3 products, you know, it's not permanent, these 3 products, but for 3 products, it's going to be around $124 plus shipping and tax, whatever that may be. So I'm covering all of those objections right there in that one message that I am sending them, because I want to make sure that they know, okay, there's a major sale going on. 2, you have a subscription, and 3, you're not locked into just the triplex. Maybe your health goals will change, or maybe a product isn't working. Then they know that it is flexible. Okay. So then they say, yes. I immediately say, okay, like, can you hop on the phone right now? That is the best way. Get on the phone, you guys. Even if you're brand new and you're like, there's no way I'm getting on the phone with someone, get on the phone. It is so much easier to read people, to talk to people, to go over all of the things that you need to go over with them. And that is, you know, asking them how much water are they drinking, letting them know that, hey, your products will be in, you know, 3 or 4 days. You'll get a first, an email that's confirming your products, and then you'll get a second saying that they shipped. And then you want to go right into the customer care, which you can find that in Hope Dealers, and it's pinned to the top. It is literally 30 days of customer care written out for you. All you have to do is open your planner and put those days in. So say I sign Leah up today, I would go in and make today my day 1 for Leah. And then I would just sit there and schedule out Leah's check-ins throughout the whole month. That way, when I open my planner up, I'm like, oh, okay, Leah's day 15. Great. This is what I need to say to her. There are videos in that thing that are attached. You guys, if you follow this, I am going to bet that you will have a higher success rate of people staying on, because you're uncovering all of those objections right in that customer care. It's talking about detox. It's talking about sharing with friends. There's videos that we personally did in there to help with that. And so if you're finding that a lot of people are quitting after 30 to 60 days and you aren't following the customer care, I would definitely start incorporating that. It's just so easy because it literally is laid out for you right there. And there's a new thing. If you save the pictures, you can go into your albums and you can copy that text right into your notes and go ahead and just put day 1 through 30. There's, they skip around a little bit, but doing that work right then is going to be so easy when it comes time to be checking in with people. So once you do that, you're going to go into our onboarding system. And so I want to share the screen really quick. And we're updating this a little bit, but this gives you the gist. So the onboarding is super easy. Onboarding starts with the example of how you share the opportunity and enroll. Okay. So phone enrollments, we did that. So everyone gets added to the team page. The team page is Rise Up Village. Everyone gets added. Everyone gets tagged. And make sure that, when you shout them out, make it huge, make it exciting. Let them know, hey, I'm going to add you to Rise Up Village and I'm going to tag you in the welcome post at the top of the page. There are some things in there that you can look over and I'll check back with you. You guys, it's accountability on our end to check in with them and say, hey, did you have a chance to look at the first video? Do you have any questions? Making sure that you are in contact with them in those, 3 or 4 days that they're waiting on their products. Don't let there be silence between you in those 3 to 4 days. Make sure that you're asking them, hey, did you get the email? Because a lot of the times we say, hey, let me know when your products get in, but it's our responsibility to be checking in with them and making sure that we don't check in with them on, day 5 and they've had their products for 2 days. And, that just feels like a huge missed opportunity. Okay. So as I'm on the phone with them, I'm going to ask them, hey, if you love these products, are you willing to share? And if they say yes, I'm like, okay, great. And then I'm going to tell them a little bit about my story and why I decided to share, because I'm going to say, I didn't have like the least bit of interest in sharing the products, but I knew that my mom, my sister, and my husband desperately needed these products, and they could not wait for me to have this like full-blown testimony to share the products with them. So does anyone come to mind? And I'm going to tell them kind of what issues those 3 people had. And so maybe that would ring a bell to them. Like, my husband was on 7 medications, back pain. My mom had, X, Y, and Z. And so maybe that rings a bell. If they say, oh yeah, my friend, Trisha, then you're going to say, hey, can we get Trisha on the phone? Can you put us in a 3-way? Something like that to get you connected. And then it is our responsibility also to follow up with that. If nothing sparks from that, then you need to go in there a day or 2 later and say, hey, I know that Trisha was your person that came to mind. And I want to see if you've had a chance to reach out to her and tell her what you're doing. If not, then let me send you something over that you can send to her. And so guys, basically, if they are willing to, say, yes, I know someone, that is like, you're in to literally show them and hold their hand on how simple this is to grab 3 friends. Okay. So if they are open, I always say like, hey, would you be open just to making a quick post and giving me a shout out? If they say yes, then I say, okay, I ask them, what are the top 3 things you're excited to see with Plexus? And then I write those down as we're on the phone. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to make a post for you and I'm going to send it over really quick and you're going to post it. And I always send a picture, but I always encourage them to grab a picture of themselves. And if they want to post the picture I sent and of themselves, that's great. But then I say, if you do have a picture of yourself, please post that. People are more attracted to your face than a pink drink picture. And then I have them, maybe make a list of people that come to mind. I'll say, hey, listen, I know you were talking about Trisha. Does anybody else come to mind that you feel like could benefit from this? And then tag them in the Rise Up Village, how to follow up with the 3-way message. So as they're making that post, you're going to say, listen, you're going to get comments. And the best thing is I'm going to be here to help you the entire way. So when that person comments, you just say, hey, I'll shoot you the deets. And then you just add me into that 3-way. and I'll help out. Okay. So just reassuring them that they don't have to know a thing, that you're going to, as long as they will send the follow-up message, that you're going to take over and help them. And then Heather's going to touch more on, Heather, you can talk kind of about how you, here in a minute, how you kind of asked for that and the event. But then the next thing is scheduling a wellness event, making it super casual. Hey, I know that you had a couple people interested. Would it be easier if I just threw a wellness event for you? That way, all the information is in one place and you can add people as you are talking to them. Help them follow up personally, go over updated exposure process, kind of just like what we talked about, once they kind of got into the groove of things. In between that, I'm going to get on a call with them if they want to go silver, and Heather's going to explain a little bit more about that here in a second. And then invite them to our next team event. You guys, I don't feel like we utilize our team events enough for our current team. Invite them to our next team event and literally tell them, say, hey, listen, we have a quick Pink 15 Zoom that's happening on X, Y, and Z. Why don't you grab your mom to come? I would love for you to come. I'm going to be there. Would you mind just getting on and hearing some of my friends' stories? I feel like a lot of the times we may think, okay, we sign them up. And now it's like, okay, on to the next, you know what I'm saying? Like, but if you could just see the potential in that seed that you have already planted in them, and you can help water that and grow that, you would have business builders popping up. But I feel like it's that first turn down, or they say no, and then we're like, oh, well, we'll just forget about them. But if you just continue to harvest and water those relationships, I promise you that you probably have more like plants in your garden in the back office than you know of that is about to sprout. It's all about just going back and revisiting their whys and asking them, if it's been 6 months since you've asked your level one, hey, like, how is everything going? Are your health goals still the same? What can I help you with? There's a couple products. If your health goals are the same, here are some new products. Help them take advantage of, the resources that we have, and then their perk credits. And we'll get to that. I know, Brianna, if you're able, you can touch on that here in a little bit. So if they say no, that's totally fine. Just beeline it to something different. Say, hey, no worries at all. Like, no big deal. If someone does come to you and ask you what Plexus is, I'm here to help you. And I know that they're going to, because you're going to start feeling super good and people are going to notice. And so you just kind of put that little bug in their ear that, hey, if you do have someone, I'm here to help. So you're going to add them to the team page. You're going to tag them in the newbie giveaway post and introduce them to your sponsor. So this goes along with if they want to share. You're going to do this regardless. Okay. So you're always going to introduce them to your sponsor. You're going to, and you don't use the word sponsor. Just say, hey, this is my friend Heather. She helped me get started. I wanted to add her in here and connect us because I want her as an extra layer of support in case I'm ever not available, but I also want you to meet someone else in our community. This is Heather. She's been on the products for 5 years, blah, 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 blah. Heather, this is so-and-so, and this is why she got started. And then Heather's going to go in there and she's just going to introduce herself, ask a couple questions, and be done. But it's always so nice to connect people with another person, so they have an instant support system right there. And in case maybe you need help with them, maybe they're going through detox, you can reintroduce that conversation with Heather and say, hey, you remember my friend Heather? She is like a wealth of knowledge. I wanted to get her take on kind of where you're at with your detox process. And then they're going to feel comfortable with Heather because they've already met her. I can't tell you how many people I've saved just by going in a 3-way and saying, hey, I know we met, blah, 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 blah. But like, sometimes it just takes that other person. So then also that product check-in using the 4-point check-in system. So we do have a 4-point check-in system, but that is kind of evolved into the customer care. So that is exactly what I would do. And then celebrate wins and shout them out on the team page. Guys, the team page is not just for business shout outs. It's for everything. If someone's been consistent, we've been doing the 30, 60 to 90-day consistency shout outs. And so if you see your person on there, go and personally congratulate them and be like, oh my God, did you see your name up there, like celebrating your 60 days of consistency? I'm so excited for you. Or did you see you were at the 90-day mark? Like, tell me something good you're feeling, like what is going on? And then that's when you can say, hey, like you need to share that. Like, let me help you just write up a simple post. You need to share this. And so I feel like just the main tips is add everyone to the team page, get them plugged into a team event, use the customer care, tell them about the perks. And Brina's going to go a little bit more into that. Explain the subscription and why it's important, and continue to encourage them to share their wins that they see with Plexus. And I think, like we all know, just because if it's a no doesn't mean it's a no forever. And so you just have to continue to build that relationship. And so anyways, Heather, are you able to share? Or okay, so Heather is going to go over a little bit about what she does with her team and getting on welcome calls. And I think this can also apply whether or not they want to share. I feel like a welcome call is going to be our next thing that we're adding to our onboarding system, because I think that that can truly iron out a lot of like kinks in the going from a phone call to a VIP customer and then a VIP customer to like taking the products. I feel like having that call can really help, really just, if they have questions, it's like, 15 minutes of uninterrupted like questions and getting to know them, and just, I don't know, I just feel like it's going to be really something really good. And I'm happy to like lay out something where it says like, this is what kind of the points you might touch on or whatever. So Heather, I'm going to give it over to you, babe.
All right. So yes, I need to actually type it out. That way I don't miss anything, but just to kind of give you guys like a general idea of kind of what I've been doing. So I've been doing it with my new people, and then I've been helping Leah a lot with her new girls. And it kind of depends. There's like two different calls we kind of do. We do ones if they haven't even really got anybody yet. And then ones if they have started to. So like on Monday, we did one with a girl who she is wanting the business, like she wants to work, but she hasn't actually signed anybody up yet. And then tonight before this, we did one with a girl who just got started, but she's already helped 5 friends. So the calls were just kind of a little bit different. So the one the other day, they're always kind of about expectations though. I feel like kind of letting them know what they need to do to work their business in the beginning is so beneficial. That way it's not just like always throwing like little bits and pieces at them all the time. So like the other day, what we did as we got on the call, I always ask, the first thing I ask is kind of like what their goal is. Like, what do they have in mind with Plexus? Like, are you just wanting to get your products paid for, help a couple friends? Are you wanting to cover like groceries or gas? Or are you really wanting to like turn this into like an actual business? So that's just like the first question that I always like to ask. Like Leah, she already kind of knew, but I always like to know as well, just so we can all kind of be on the same page, just to kind of see what we need to do to help them. Of course, they can always change that down the road. Like I was every step of the way. I'm like, okay, well, let's do this next. Let's do this next. But just kind of getting that up front is just kind of nice. That way you can be like, okay, you can definitely do that. Like the girl tonight, she was like, I kind of just want to get my products paid for with a little bit extra. And she's already helped 5 friends. So, I mean, it's like, oh, well, hello, you're pretty much there. So just kind of like reassuring them that. But anyway, so expectations I always tell them is like, find 15 to 30 minutes in the beginning to work your business. That's all you need. 15 to 30 minutes to send out some messages, inviting some friends to an event, messages following up with your friends, and making a post. I'm like, as long as you have 15 to 30 minutes, like I said in the beginning, the more you grow, a little bit, more time that you will need, and just make that look how you want. If you want to do that in the morning, or if you want to do that before you go to bed, whatever works best for you, just kind of reassuring them that they can like fit it into their day somewhere. If it's 30 minutes you're going to work, you can split that up into 2 15-minute sessions, or you can do it all together. That, and then talking to them about posting, just always letting them know, at least 3 posts a week that have to do with Plexus, 3 to 4, make them about you and make them different. I always use this as an example. Like today is the first day that I felt like I didn't need to take a nap in months. Simple as that, with a picture. Again, making that picture personal, or with you and your drink. Maybe one day you want to share a testimony from someone else. Maybe one day you want to just share a graphic about like the benefits of, improving your gut health. Like just showing them that it doesn't have to be so cut and dry. You don't have to just take other people's posts, making it about them and what they want to post about. I always tell them like it's a little bit easier for you to post about plexus if it's something that you find interesting or it's about your own journey, and then just sharing some other people's journeys just because everyone is struggling with something different. That and then just like adding value with your posts. I always tell them that too. Like if you love to cook, then throw in some healthy recipes or, workouts. You love to read books, like ask people what books they're reading. I always say sprinkle in those things that you genuinely like and care about outside of plexus. That way it's not just all plexus posts though. So I talked to them about that. And then at that point, if they have not done a wellness chat and they have just made a post, then we go ahead and schedule that then. Like, okay, like this is what it looks like. We do all the work for you. You just need to invite. Like, what day are you thinking works best? You can always talk to them about that. And then I did make a couple notes. Hold on. New messages. Whoop. Let's see. Oh, adding and welcoming them into the team page. We kind of talked about that. Again, it just kind of depends if they have actually shared. So like the girl the other day, she hasn't signed anybody up. So I didn't really go over that too much. But like the girl tonight, she has signed a couple people up very quickly. So it's more so for her as far as like, okay, so what you're going to do is adding them, welcoming them into the team page, make sure that they accept the invite before you tag them, that type of thing. So it's just kind of a little bit different. So for her, she has signed some people up. So I went over with her briefly, like the first couple levels, the first 3 levels, how points work. I always go over with them how they get paid, just because it is kind of exciting hearing like, oh, you're going to get paid 5 times a month, like, weekly for your new friends that you help. And then in the middle of the month, with your bonuses and your bigger paycheck, like that's something I go over on both calls. Like I said, just because it is exciting, just to kind of hear that they're going to be getting paid, whether they want a small paycheck or a big paycheck. Let me see. I need to actually like type out everything, but let's see. And then, this is something else that I like to go over is just like making sure that you don't feel like you have to know everything, because you know how that is. People can get overwhelmed when they're like, I need to know every product. I need to know what's in every product, and just let them know, use us. If it's Leah who helped them to get started, use Leah in every message for as long as you need. That way you can get comfortable. That way you know how she talks, the questions that she asks, as far as like what medications they're taking, what things they struggle with, making product recommendations. And then that's how you're going to learn how to talk to your new friends and family. That's how you're going to know what to recommend. And then you're going to be just tweaking it as you go and learning new things along the way. You're going to learn what ease is and what ease does. So just letting them know that they don't have to know everything right away about anything, not just the products, about how to talk to people, about detox, any of that. Because I feel like we probably do run into a lot of people that they're like, okay, send me the videos on what I need to learn. I want to know this. I want to know that. And it's like, you don't need to like slow down, just enjoy the process. Just focus on these couple things, which is like posting, messaging, and following up. Like, we would really want to make sure that they're doing those, 3 things. I'm like, just really focus on those and come to us not come to us because we're going to be helping them, but we're going to be in all those messages with all your new friends. That way you can learn how we follow up, checking in with them at least once a week, sometimes more if they are going through any detox. Like I always talk to them about that on the Zoom. So it just kind of depends on how long it takes. But I feel like, 20 minutes, definitely, sometimes a little bit longer, but I feel like that has been so helpful and so good to do in the beginning, just because they do know like, oh, okay, like I can do this. I can fit this in. Cause that's what the girl said the other day. At the end, I'm like, okay, so how are you feeling? Do you feel overwhelmed, or you feel like, oh, like this is exciting, I can do this? And she was like, honestly, I feel so much better after getting on this Zoom, because she's like, I thought I was going to have to work like several hours a day, but I can definitely do 15 to 30 minutes. So I feel like sometimes it is reassuring to them just because we don't want to overload them with information. Like, yes, it would be nice to show them where all the points are coming from, like how their subscriptions work, all of that. But we don't want to do that all in the beginning when they're first starting to share, because they're going to be like, oh, whoa, I do not want to do this. So like I said, just hitting on those main points, that way you get them consistent with posting, knowing that they're going to have to follow up with their friends, to hold them accountable. It's going to help them, the person that's helping them, and the people who are taking the products under them, just kind of letting them know all of those things on the call. So just kind of want to go over that, because that is something that I've been doing a lot recently. And like I said, I feel like it helps overall, because they know what to expect. And I don't like to call it expectations, because it's not like we're like, hey, you have to do this. But just basically ways to help them to have success. That's kind of more so how you could phrase it. Like, I want to make sure that we give you like information and tools, and like get to talk face to face. That way you can have success on your journey, like sharing with your friends and family. That's kind of a good way if you want to like put it that way. That, and then I know Andrew kind of mentioned this earlier. I've mentioned this before in another call, but something else that I've started to do is when I ask them to post and they say yes, I'm asking them about the wellness chat then, rather than waiting, just because you know how it is when someone posts, they don't get hardly any likes, no one comments, and they're like so discouraged. They're like, I don't know, like no one commented, no one reached out to me. They always think that people are going to come to them. So what I do is like, okay, great. Like, we're going to do this post this time. Something else that I do for everyone who is getting started is I just have a wellness chat just to invite your friends and family. It's intimate, just for you. I would do all the work. You would just have to invite them just to learn a little bit more. Like, would you be open to doing that? Just asking them that then, versus waiting, because a lot of times they're going to say yes. You're already going to have it set up. You're going to give them the message to send, all of that while their post is like being done, rather than them making a post. And then if they do get discouraged, then it's a little harder, because they're going to be thinking, well, I don't know, no one's going to be interested in the products because they weren't interested when I made my post. So that's just another thing too, that we've, tried to start doing right away, just to hopefully have a little bit more success and to get them kind of going a little bit sooner rather than stalling, because sometimes too, we can make a post and not much happens. And then we just kind of forget about that person as well. And then it's been however long, and we're like, oh, we never even asked them to do a wellness chat. So, if they sign someone up, then obviously that kind of goes into that a little bit quicker. But if they don't sign anyone up from that post, I feel like it kind of stalls a little bit. So this just kind of speeds up the process a little bit. Just letting them know this is just what we do. We just, set up a wellness chat for everyone. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, if you guys want to kind of know specifically like what I go over, I can always just like type that up and send it. I didn't prepare as far as like all the details, but just wanted to give you guys a general idea of kind of how those have been going.
You should do a video and then have an attachment with it. That was really,
I can do that.
good. Yeah, that was really good. Super helpful. I feel like those calls, I feel like expectations, like just telling them what to expect if they want to hit silver, like, hey, if you want to hit silver, this is what, to expect 30 minutes, X, Y, and Z or whatever. I feel like having those calls, and of course you guys, like anything new is going to feel uncomfortable, but I feel like just asking like, hey, let's get on a quick Zoom. Like, first of all, I just want to like meet you face to face, and then just let them know and show them, even when, so say that is not someone who wants to work the business. I want us to start doing those for someone who's just a product lover, right? And just someone who is just wanting to get their products paid for. And you're probably thinking like, well, what the heck would I even talk to them or show them about? Show them around their back office, right? Like, say, here's your subscription, this is your perk credits, like educate them, because I truly believe like knowledge is power. And so when we tell them, hey, you've got perk credits, here's what you can earn, instead of just sending a graphic, like just share your screen, tell them, hey, this is what you can get when you are consistent for 90 days, and then show them all the things that they can get at that point level. Because I feel like a lot of the times, when I'm messaging people, they're like, yeah, I don't know what perks is. I don't know what perks is. And I just feel like if they knew what it was, and what like it actually meant, then that could be something to have them say, okay, in 90 days, I'm going to cash in on this. Or maybe they're going to say, okay, maybe in 90 days, I'm going to swap my product out for this, or I'm going to add a new product, and then I'm going to add this weight loss product, or I'm going to add this, probiotic or whatever. But I feel like getting them excited, saying, okay, like or you could even say like, hey, at 90 days, like what product are you going to try? Like just going ahead and letting them know, like you're sticking this out for 90 days. And that's one of the things that I do on a call is I always say like, this is a 90-day commitment. Are you committed to letting me help you the entire way? You're going to run into some tough spots because it's not always easy, right? You may have, and I go over, you may have some die off, you may have some detox, but you guys, I don't say it like you're going to have die off, you're going to have detox, you're going to be like itching, you're going to be sweating. I'm like, listen, when you get a headache, like you better text me and we're going to clap that out because that's really exciting. And that means the products are working. And so I just think that having more excitement behind that. And if you're like, I don't know how to handle someone on detox, that is why those 3 ways are so important. And so I just want to make sure that these are such basic things. And I feel like maybe we get so used to doing it one way, or like we say that, oh yeah, I know the onboarding or I know the customer care, but maybe you're skipping over the really like important parts of it that could be the missing link in your retention. And so that's why I always feel like I can listen to basics training all day long, because I will take a different piece of it and apply it. Because of course we're not perfect, right? So there might be some things that you might not be doing, or that you might be doing that you could tweak a little bit. And so anyways, just listen with open ears. And then I'm going to have Brianna talk about customer care and all of that good stuff. And then we'll wrap up.
Hey guys, so I love that, Heather. And I was just telling my team and my leaders the other night, we've got to get back. Sorry, that's my dog snoring. We've got to get back to doing that myself, like on our team, because it's like you do something for so long and then it's like you get out of a habit so easily. And so going back to the basics and really like showing up for these people who we've signed up is 100% a game changer for your business. And so when you make the commitment that your friend signed up with you and you're going to give them the best customer service, you're going to be the best health coach that you can be and the best like friend to them, I'm telling you, could literally change your business. So what I've personally been doing is texting the person. And I've been texting them 2 to 3 times a week. And like, I'm just making this like casual conversation. Like, oh my gosh, I just had my pink drink and I was thinking about you. Like, have you had yours today? Just like checking in with them to make sure that they are having their supplements consistently, instead of saying, hey, have you had your supplements every day? Like, I'm just like, hey, like I just took my Probio 5 and Bio Cleanse. Like, have you taken yours today or whatever? And so like, there are some people that I have on my team, like as customers that are not consistent. And so I have to really follow up with them. And so to really follow up with them, because people are easy to forget, guys, we're all busy and we all have things going on. I have to set reminders. And so I set reminders in my phone. Like, yes, I know that this week is time to check in with XYZ person. I set those reminders in my phone. And so like if Thursday at noon, I know I should be free, like I'm going to put those people in my phone. Like if I signed up 3 people, I'm going to put those 3 people in my phone. And then that way I know to send them a text. And it doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I'm working out, doing the dishes, I literally stop what I'm doing and send that message, because if you all are like me, once that alert goes off, you're like, oh yeah, cool. Send those messages. And 10 minutes later, that's already in one ear and out the other. Right. So I'm very like, just, it's in my planner, it's in my notebook, but the reminders on my phone are is truly what's saving me lately. And so I had my team put reminders in their phones about the events this month, and like 3 or 4 days before the events, like a reminder, like, hey, this event is coming up. Let's start sending messages, because we've got to be proactive, and we can't be proactive if we're not planned and we're not intentional. And so like perks is a good way to keep people on. When I sign them up, I tell them about their perks. I tell them that they're getting 250 perks this month, and next month that they'll get about 100. They'll have 350 perk credits at that point, and we can get them a free product then. Or if we wanted to wait another month, they could get a bigger prize item. And so that's what I tell them. I kind of let them like judge that. But I also tell them when I sign them up, like if they want more products, I'm like, hey, like I know you wanted MetaBurn, and maybe MetaBurn's not like the right thing right now, but in 2 or 3 months, when you have those perk credits, we can get you a MetaBurn. Or like, I know you were interested in the skincare, but right now you want some like a reset with Triplex. We can get you some skincare like in a few months, right? We can get you a tub of collagen or whatever it is. And so I tell people, like, I save mine up and I get the collagen, I get the serums or whatever. And so you can also go to your perks report, and if they've changed their subscription, you can see their perks amount. And so that is also something that you can add to your like IPA time, is when you're checking perks, is to go through and look at amounts. And if somebody has like 400 or 500, 600 points, like message them and say like, hey, like I know you've been ordering Triplex. Like I would love to see you add in Ease or X Factor Plus, or what health goals do you have right now? Like you have enough perks that we can get you a free product. So always having that conversation about perks will really help too with retention, and not being afraid to send the perk message. Like I used to have so much drama around the perk message. Like, oh my God, they turned off their sub. They hate their stuff. They can't afford this. They don't want to talk to me. And it was just all this drama that was totally unnecessary. And so now, like I have Project Broadcast, and when I see them on perks, I don't care what level they are, they get a message from me, and it's simple. I can actually read it to you because it's saved here on my computer. So it's in the notes on my computer and my phone. That way, wherever I am, I can just copy and paste it. And mine just says, hey, Regina, it's Brianna. I'm a part of your Plexus community. I was checking reports today and saw that you have 280 perk credits that will soon expire. I don't want you to lose those because that's about $28 in free product that you've earned. How are you doing with your supplements? Are you familiar with the reward system? And honestly, like so many people will respond and tell me like, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I was changing my subscription around, or like, okay, what's perks? Tell me about perks. I wasn't familiar with that, or, you know, I'm fixing this or whatever. And I tell people, listen, don't forget, like you have 3 days, like, and then I give them the second day clear and free. I give them the first day clear and free. And then when it says today, I'm like, hey, yo, like tonight at midnight, you're losing those perks. Like, are we fixing this or not? And so it's kind of like a last minute follow up. And I'm not afraid to keep going to them because I know the benefits and I know how valuable that is. Right. And so perks is a great way just to be like on top of your business truly, and helping people love other products and be more consistent too. I also wanted to add, like when Andrea does the 30, 60, 90 post, when they hit that 90-day mark, when they've ordered with me 3 times, I send them a frother or a water bottle or something small off Amazon, and just thank them for being a loyal customer of mine and that I appreciate them, and congratulations on being consistent on your supplements for 90 days. So that's something that I always do as well. And let's see what else. Is that it? Did I cover everything? I feel like I talked really fast.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you covered everything with perks and everything. We just,
Okay.
you guys, I think like we have so many resources, and maybe you're like, oh, I don't even know where to start, but we like the most important things that you need to know right now is how to lead a conversation. That's the exposure process. Okay. The onboarding checklist, that is it. All of these are in Hope Dealers, the exposure process, the onboarding, the customer care. We can upload like those messages that we send. And there's a whole file actually that if you go into guides that Brianna has uploaded, and you can just tweak it. It's for perks under 100 PV, like all of those things. Like the back office work is super important. And I think like So for instance, mom had someone who had like 3,100 perk credits. And so she was like, called her and was like, hey, can you, talk? You have a lot of like perk credits to use, and she's never used them. And they got on a Zoom, they talked. She helped her redeem all of them. So now she has a lot of product coming in. And so now she has a variety of things that she can try, because what if someone didn't love what they got started on? And maybe you just never checked in with them to ask them like, hey, how's everything going? Are you loving your products? And it's okay if someone, guys, it is okay if someone, let's just take the drama off of if someone says, no, I'm not loving what I'm on right now. Well, that's okay. Like we have a bazillion other products for them to try. And I feel like if we just don't ever ask, and if we're scared of them saying, no, I don't love it, if we can't go back at them and say, hey, that's not a problem. Like maybe right now, if you're not loving the way the Slim tastes, why don't we switch it up? Don't be afraid to kind of go off and just meet them where they are, right? I know in our deepest depths of souls, like I am a gut health girl. Like I believe you cannot lose weight. You cannot have like X, Y, and Z unless your gut is in balance. I mean, it's scientifically proven, but sometimes people do not care if their gut looks like the inside of a trash can. They want to lose 20 pounds. Okay. And sometimes we have to, because I used to do this. I would be like, oh, I know you want to lose weight, but here's the thing. And I would go on this spiel about gut health, and they're like, sounds great. But I knew in the back of my head, I'm like, I know that all they want is weight loss. And if they go through detox, like they're going to be like, peace out. But what I learned from Tara Castaneda 3 years ago, she was like, get them feeling good first, and then start introducing those products in with the gut health. And that's why I love the weight loss advance pack. Like I love that it has, I don't even know, is that what it's called now? I feel like they've changed the name so many times. You guys know, like the lean, the hydrate, the active, the metaburn, and then the triplex. Like that is my go-to. And I feel like if they can't have metaburn, then I'm just like, hey, gift it to someone. It's basically free anyways, with all of the flipping discounts that are happening right now. And so I just love that, because I can get them feeling good on the Slim and the active, and then, or they have the advanced where you can customize it. You know what I'm saying? Like there is a way to get them to do both, but you don't have to start them on all the products at once. Get them to feel the energy, get them to be less bloated, and then say, okay, we're going to ease into the ProBio 5. And so that is, yes, give them what they want, and then show them what they need, and they will. And I just feel like it's like when you first have a baby, right? You're like, oh, I have a baby. And then it's like, I got to help this baby grow up. And so you have to be there tending to their needs, because you are their coach. When you say we give one-on-one coaching, like these people should be so important to you, so important. We have to get over the fact that if someone tells us no, or they're going through detox, or they come at us like that, we have to be the professionals and say, okay, I'm going to solve this solution. So let's talk. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If they're like, I just don't see a change in this. Are you going to say, okay, it's fine. It's fine. That's fine. No big deal. Or are you going to say, okay, can I just remind you of why you started, and let's take a look and see, where you're not wanting to see change. And what if it's like, oh yeah, like I have IBS and I'm just not, well, what if they never told you that? Right. And so you're like, well, girl, you never told me that. Like, let me help you switch your products up. And so taking the time to actually just talk to them, like people are more willing. Here's the thing. What I've learned in almost 7 years, people will get defensive about not feeling good or it not working. They're going to come at you defensive because they're like, oh, this doesn't work. They've got all of these things playing in their head, but we have to undo those things in their head, those objections, those things they're telling themselves, oh, I knew this wasn't going to work. I knew this wasn't going to work. Right. And so we want to say, listen, I know that maybe you're thinking, oh, crap, I tried more products and they're not going to work. But I want to tell you that if you can let me help you figure out what you want to do right now with your health goals. I know we talked and it was X, Y, and Z, but maybe these products aren't agreeing with you. And this is why I always preface the conversations too, when I get on the phone, like, hey, this is what I recommend, but this might not be what you're always taking, because everyone's body acts differently. And so this is what I'm going to recommend, but maybe in a month or two, we might have to switch a couple products around. Are you okay with that? Like, are you open to that? And just like Christina Williams says, everyone wants to be open, right? Like, so they're going to say, yeah, I'm open to that. And so you just have to keep reminding them why they're there, why they want to do this, have them write a list. One of the things I started to do is I'd say, hey, listen, I know that you are wanting X, Y, and Z. And so I have a challenge for you tonight. I want you to write down, I do this like right when I get off the phone with them. I say, listen, I want you to write down all of the things that you want to see change with Plexus. I want you to screenshot and send that to me. That way that I can put in my phone, like, signed Allie up, and then I put a picture of what they wanted. You can add a picture to that like little note thing. And so you can do that, or you can put it in your whatever it may be, but I have that there or in the thread so I can go back and remember, because I'm not going to always remember all of the things, right? Like maybe the achy like left knee, I'm not going to know that, but maybe that is feeling better, but they're like not seeing the energy, but you can refer back to that, right? So those are like the little wins, and just continuously asking them, like, is it worth it in 60 days to feel better than you do right now? Ask him those questions. Don't be afraid truly to ask the questions and use these resources. And so anyways, I hope this was helpful. I truly believe, I mean, it's all about basics. And when you feel like you're like Brianna said, sometimes we just do this for so long that we get out of the habit of actually we get lazy, right? We get lazy and stop doing the check-ins or stop doing the extra steps for customer care. We're just like, oh, well, like maybe you had a row of bad experiences and you're like, oh, well, that didn't work, I'm not going to do it anymore. That's not true. You just never know who it's going to click with. And so just do it with everybody, make it that mundane task. And I just feel like I want to see such good retention this month. I really do. And like I said last month, I really don't care how many people we add this month. I just want to see our retention rate go up. I want to see more customers staying on past 30 to 60 days. That would really make my heart happy, because I know that if they stay on or the 90-day plus mark, they're going to be a customer of yours for like a year or more. And that is so true. You can look back in your back office, look who's been a customer with you for 90 days. I guarantee that they're still with you. And so just make that your goal. Be like, we are going like 90 days in. I'm going to get her there. I'm going to get her there. Like that, you are going to be a queen of retention this month. Okay. So love you guys. I'll post this in the YouTube of Rise Up Village. So hope you guys have a great Wednesday night, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, y'all.